Welcome back to the 100 Club. I'm Tom, joined once again by Rich.
Hello.
And Ollie.
Hello.
Good evening, gentlemen. Welcome back. And we're going to have a chat about some squads from this point on, I think. So we're going to start off with the Southern Brave, those fearsome Native American cricketers of Southampton. We'll come back to quite how they got their team name perhaps a bit later. But it's based out of Southampton, out of the Rose Bowl there. We're going to have a look at both the squads in two separate videos, but we're going to start with the women. And if you want to continue to learn a bit more about these squads, please do remember, give us a like, put some comments down below, and throw us a subscribe. A team that's in some flux, I think it's fair to say, Rich. On the women's squad, what have you picked out? Who's the star player? Who's the star attraction?
So tricky to pick out a star because there are a number of very high quality players in that team. In fact, it looks like a strong outfit from 1 to 11. The nucleus of the side is the Southern Vipers team that won the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy last year. But I've decided to actually pick a player who doesn't come from the Southern Vipers. It's one of the centrally contracted England players, and that's Anya Shrubsole. Now, Anya Shrubsole, I think, is probably about as close as you get to household name in English women's cricket circles. She was the star of the 2017 World Cup win when she took 6 for 46 in the final against India, including that incredible spell of 5 for 19. I don't know if you guys remember it.
Yeah, it's, absolutely ripped through it.
She did. At that point, it looked like the game was India's, but she came on. That spell changed it all. I think as a bowler, what I'm excited about watching her is that she's got a huge amount of variation, but one thing she can do is she can swing a white ball, which is actually quite a bit of an unusual skill, and especially her in-swinger, and she gets that right at the back end of an innings. It's very difficult to get her away. So I think it's going to be one of the reasons why I think she's going to be critical to this team. Now, that, of course, was the 50-over World Cup where she achieved that milestone. But in fairness, she's actually almost been better in T20 over the last 10, 11 years. And she was voted as the player of the decade in women's T20 international cricket. She's 4th all time in terms of wickets. There's only one player one player in the 100 who's ahead of her in terms of wickets. You guys know who that is?
Is it Taylor? Also in this squad?
No, it's not Stefani Taylor, who we'll get onto in a minute, who's 8th on that list.
Okay.
Elise
Perry over at your lot, Tom.
Yeah. I thought it might be. Always bank on an Aussie.
Yeah, but so Elise Perry's a bit higher with 115 wickets, but she's taken 123 games to do that. Shrubsole has 102 in just 79 games. Also gives it a bash in the lower order as well. Very useful all-round cricketer, and I think she's going to be really important to how this team goes in this tournament.
Yeah. And do you think they'll bowl her at usually the death bowler? Do you think she'll open up in the power play, or do you think they'll keep her back for bowling some overs in the tail end of the innings?
I think they'll mix it up. I think they will generally keep her back for the death. I think that they have a couple of young quicks in Lauren Bell and Tara Norris, who may take sort of the new ball. And they might keep Shrubsole back because of that ability to sort of really get those Yorkers in. She's a psychology graduate, so pressure doesn't faze her.
I like that. But also there's a bit to be said, if you're going to be wanting to move the white ball, yes, the first 10 balls might do it, but you might also want a bit of the lacquer off somewhere later down the line.
Absolutely.
It's not going to change that much over the course of 100 balls. A bit of the lacquer will come off it, but unless it's absolutely going around the ground...
Yeah,
landing on concrete every other ball, it's still going to be a pretty decent cricket ball when you're bowling the 100th ball.
Yeah, and ultimately she's the star for a reason. She'd probably get quite a big say of when she bowls. You don't. So I'll take the ball now, please, Skip. Thank you very much. And I suppose that kind of leads me to my next sort of thing I'll just talk about is the coaching side of it. They've got probably, if you want a more of a household name in women's cricket, who are you going to go for? Well, maybe Charlotte Edwards would do it. Pretty much done everything in the game. Not hugely experienced, perhaps, though, on the coaching side. So coaching the Southern Vipers, you mentioned them there, based, largely on the same squad. So that's what I think she'll have, is plenty of experience of these players working alongside about half the squad. And also when she was a player, I don't know if she quite overlapped with Stefani Taylor when she was at the Southern Vipers, but she'll know what these players are about. She'll know about the conditions. She'll know how to get a result at the Aegeus Bowl, no doubt. And frankly, if I was wanting to play for the Southern Brave, I'd want to play for the legend that is Lottie Taylor. The first player, either male or female, to score 2,500 T20 runs. Full stop. Thank you very much.
No, she's going to know how to win a short format cricket match.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that is, compared to some of the other coaches, and we'll come back into them later, I think that's a plume in the cap of the Southern Brave. And Ollie, what have you spotted from the team? Have you got a youngster to watch?
Yes, I was taking a look who are some of the perhaps the less household names, some of the youngsters, and in this squad in particular there is one youngster who really is a youngster. She's currently 16, which remarkably means that she was picked when she was 15. So she's been playing at the Sussex Academy. She's been at Bede School down on the south coast. I think she made her first century for the under 12s. So she's been doing it from a pretty young age.
I think I was still learning my times table.
Yeah.
I couldn't have counted to 100.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised. When I was in 12, I don't think the scoreboard had a batting column that had hundreds on it. So I imagine the scorers are having a nightmare trying to keep up with her. So I guess the question is, how much is she gonna play? Is she just in the squad as part of the experience? But I think she's these days she's regarded as a pretty useful left arm quick bowler. So it will be interesting to see if she gets a run in the side. Perhaps she's just going to be in the squad to get some experience, because there's a couple of more experienced quicks that will probably take the new ball in ahead of her. But if any of those break down, it's pretty intense competition. There's games are going to be coming thick and fast. So hopefully we'll actually get to see her on the pitch and actually show what she can do.
I think that's a fair point, because the squads are only 15. I can imagine everyone in the squad is going to get used at some point. So I'd definitely keep an eye out for that. And if anyone, again back to Charlotte Edwards again, if anyone knows about how to come through into the cricket mainstream as a youngster, it's her, who was knocking centuries around before she was 18, certainly. So that hopefully a star for the long term for English cricket as well.
And one fixture, I guess that Freya Kent might have her eye on if she's going to get a game or two is when the Brave play the Welsh Fire, because as I said before, she's sort of been at St Bede's School, and cricket coach, head of cricket down there is one Sarah Taylor. So there's the sort of tasty prospect of pupil bowling to
very
teacher.
Much a Obi-Wan Kenobi moment in the 100.
Absolutely. So you could imagine there'd be a extra couple of yards of pace if you're charging again against your teacher.
Look out, miss.
So I think that could be a good little sort of subplot to that fixture. If
you have to be careful with your sledging.
Yeah. If you get her out and you end up in detention.
Very, very good. Okay, so there's a few of the big names associated with the squad. I know we've also just gone through the players in general, so some of the others we haven't mentioned are going to need to fit in as well. How are you lining up the top order? Who wants to have a go at that one first? Who's your opening partnership, Rich?
So, Ollie and I have had a chat around this, and actually our top five is more or less the same. Okay. We might swap a batter around in position or two, but the players are the top five. The openers almost pick themselves. You're going to have Danni Wyatt, centrally contracted England player. She started opening in T20 internationals back in 2017 and really took to it. She has two T20 hundreds to her name. She's sort of plateaued a bit recently, but very experienced in that role.
Not such a great 2020 though.
No. That's as I was alluding to there. She's plateaued a little bit recently, so she'll be looking at this tournament, I guess, to kickstart her short format career a little bit. But she'll be joined at the top of the order by Smriti Mandhana, the Indian opener. Now, if you imagine a scale of left-handed elegance from David Gower at one end to Graham Smith at the other, then Mandhana is very much at the Gower end. I was watching her bat last week in the women's test, and she's very classy batter, and ranked 4th in the world at the minute. So I think she's going to be very important to getting the team off to a good start.
Is that across all formats or just on the?
No, in T20 she's ranked 4th.
Okay.
Yeah, so she plays across formats. So good in the tests, but she can up her game and score faster in the T20s.
Nice.
The sort of batsman that will just pick gaps and rather than just go aerial all the time. From what you're saying.
Yeah,
she's got that in her bow. She can go aerial if needed be. She, tends to play good on the drive, play straight down the ground. We use the pace on the ball, but also has the power if needed as well. So very versatile batter.
So the top two there look like they're a solid foundation kind of opening partnership. They're not a pinch hitting kind of outfit in that sense.
I think Wyatt a little bit more, but I expect them to be playing decent cricket shots. Yeah.
Okay. And then in at 3, who we got?
So I'd had Stefani Taylor. I think Richie done the same. Again, very experienced cricketer.
Legend of the game.
Yeah, he's done it all around the world. So yeah, I think you've got to put her in at 3. And I think spot 4 and 5. I think we had the same players, but in a different order when we were comparing our notes, Rich. So I was going to put in Amelia Kerr at 4, kind of on the strength of her ODI successes in the past. So she's actually got the 3rd highest ODI score in the world. So across men's and women's cricket, 232 from June of 2018. That she basically made hay against the Irish in Dublin. And so, although she hasn't kind of reached those kind of heights again, I mean, obviously no one has, right? But she hasn't been sort of getting really big scores at this this year, but I guess has the potential. Obviously if she really gets in and faces a lot of balls in the kind of nick that she can get herself into, then you'd be looking at a really huge total. So I'd put her in at 4 just to try and get her enough balls to really kind of start to clear the ropes and punish bowlers like she can. And then I would put in Sophia Dunkley. Whereas I think you, Rich, were probably going to go the other way around.
Yeah, I would go Dunkley at 4. I think she's in good form. She had a good knock the other day, 74 not out, obviously in the test format, but against very high quality bowling. I think Amelia Kerr, as good as she is, and obviously she's one of the best bowlers in women's cricket, and has the potential to be a very, very good batter as well. I think she's had a slightly disappointing record in T20s. So she's played 81 games across internationals, the Women's Big Bash and Kia Super League. And she's never gone past 36 in that time. And when you consider that she had that double 100 in a one-day international, I think watchers probably think that she maybe could go a bit better than that. I agree with you that she needs to have a few balls to get going. When she had that double 100, her first 50 only really came at a run a ball, and then she massively accelerated. But I think just sort of on knowledge of conditions, weighted runs, I would go Dunkley at 4, and then I'd put Kerr in at 5.
Okay, with my casting vote, I'm going to say Dunkley at 4 and Kerr at 5. Let's capitalise on Dunkley's excellent effort last week. Let's play to the gallery slightly. So there's your opening 5.
Let's see if Charlotte Edwards agrees with us.
Yeah.
Well, there's choices there though.
Yeah.
Choices. That's a really strong batting front 5.
She might be watching this with a selection headache, thinking, "Come on, guys, help me out here."
There you go. Job done. Okay, so let's have a talk about the middle. What do you got thereafter? Are you going straight to? Well, what was the bowlers look like?
Well, let's talk about the 6th spot, because I think that's where Ollie and I disagree. I'll go first. I'm going to play Maya Bouchier at 6 because I want to bolster the batting a little bit. I can see the batting a little bit. I see bowling throughout the side. I mean, we'd had that top 5 up there. Danni Wyatt bowls, Stefani Taylor bowls. Amelia Kerr is obviously a very, very good bowler. She's probably going to bowl her 20 balls in almost every match that she plays in. So I think we can afford to prioritise the batting a little bit at 6 in case they get into a bit of a dodgy start and need somebody to come in and pick up the pieces if they fall down.
Presumably you're not going to have Bouchier bowling?
Unfortunately, she's not able to bowl at the minute. She has been an all-rounder, but she was picked up for her action last season. and she has to go under remedial action under the watch of the ECB in order to get it signed off that she can start bowling again. And we're not quite sure when that will be. So for the minute, she'll be playing as a specialist bat.
Yeah. Okay. Ollie, counter?
I was looking at were there enough pace bowling options. So we'll come on to the bowlers in a sec, but I'm toying between Boucher or Paige Schofield. And I'm thinking that if it looks like it might do a little bit, and that there's going to be something in it for the quick bowlers, then I might be tempted to have another seam bowling option in there. In which case, I go for Paige Schofield, who can also bat a bit as well, but probably put her in ahead of Boucher.
Okay. On the interest of fairness, I will go with Schofield on this one. No, I get that argument, and also I think I'm going to trust the top 5 there to do their business. So in goes Schofield in at 6. Who's up next? Rich, what you got?
So I'm going to put in a spinning all-rounder at 7, and I'm going to have Fee Morris coming in.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's interesting because in my lineup, Fee Morris misses out, and that's simply a reflection of the other spin bowling options that are already shown on the screen.
Yeah.
So everybody else in that batting lineup can bowl spin.
Yeah, I think you're being indulgent with your spin there.
Well, yes and no. I think Fee Morris, obviously she's not the Southern Viper, she's with the Western Storm. She was a joint leading wicket taker for the Western Storm in the Rachel Haywood Trophy last year. So I think on the basis of that performance, I think she deserves to start off in the slide. And let's see how it looks out when it's balanced. But I like the idea of having a spinning all-rounder at 7. And she does contribute with the bat too. Okay.
Let's hold her there for now. Let's have a look at 8, 9, 10, 11. Go, Ollie. It's your turn.
So I was then putting in Anya Shrubsole.
Not a difficult choice.
No. We need a wicket keeper, so Carla Rudd. Great record on behind the stumps. Contributes a lot of stumpings, I think. And
yeah, she has 46 stumpings in 96 matches, which is
sharp.
And if you look at the names on the board, she's going to be doing a lot of standing up.
Yeah. If you got all those spinners in there.
So you want a decent keeper. So then I had in Sonia Adedra, and I'm not sure that she was in your lineup, Rich, but I was thinking just a bit of fast medium to kind of to keep it tight and give you another option amongst all these spin bowlers, and then Lauren Bell and then I need a left arm quick, and it's at that point it's either Tara Norris, who will probably be the first choice, but obviously Freya Kemp, who we talked about earlier, could also play the left arm seamer. So you've got left arm seamer options there. Okay,
we've magicked up 12 players there. So who's getting dropped, Rich?
Well, because that's because Ollie would have Adedra ahead of Fee Morris, I guess.
Yeah.
In that, and I think that Adedra is a sort of insurance policy. I'd rather see the attacking option of the young spinner, and then the two quicks, Bell and Norris. And I think that there's enough bowling elsewhere in terms of the medium pace. If you go with that lineup, then I think you've got Schofield as the backup medium pacer. So I don't think you need Adedra in that case.
I will take that logic. I think there's plenty of bowling in that top end. Norris and Bell are going to do the job, absolutely. Don't get me wrong there. So I think, consensus opinion. How does that look?
Yeah.
Going
I think
Wyatt,
what it shows
Mandhana.
is that they've got some good options, right? And so they can look at the pitch and decide how many spinners, top quality spinners, do we want on the park.
As I said, I think they are a very strong side. They five of that 11 started the final of the trophy last year that they won. You add to that the England players, you add to that the overseas stars.
Yeah.
And I know they're the first team we previewed, but they look like they've got a good shout at making it to the latter stages of the tournament.
Okay, well, there's the challenge. Beat that, Trent Rockets. Beat it on 25th of July, I think it is, the first game for the Southern Brave. They're a double-header. That's the first Saturday of the tournament overall. So they are going to be prime time. I think it's an 11 o'clock start that day. Rocking The green of the Southern Brave, what do we think of that kit?
I think they designed it specifically for Stefani Taylor to feel at home. Jamaican native, bit of green, black, and yellow.
Yeah.
Either that, or it was after the Wessex buses.
Yeah, Southampton style. Yeah, I like it. No, I think it looks like one of the better ones to me.
Yeah.
What do we think of their snack of choice?
Pom Bears, that's getting 2 stars from me. Not that much of a favour, but we'll get into that kind of stuff as we go forward. Any sort of closing remarks on the team as you see it and where this is going to go forward? Are there any obvious holes that they might look to fill? Or we are the opinion that they're there?
I think that they look pretty strong. They've got all bases covered from my mind. I think they can probably afford, as they've done with not necessarily with Freya Kemp. She might play a lot of games, but also it's going to be a great learning curve for her. They probably got the opportunity with their squad to bring in a couple more youngsters who can gain a bit of experience and be part of their. I think the teams that do well in the 100 going forward are going to be the ones that can maintain a year-on-year continuity to their squads. So the teams that are thinking about developing players going forward. So I think that the Brave can probably afford to do that, their squad.
It'd probably be nice to see sort of another young top order batsman in the squad, wasn't it? Just to in the same way that you've got a young bowler to kind of just soak up the experience of being in and amongst these these top players. Again, if they've got space for an extra youngster to kind of gain some experience, top order batsman probably the way to go.
Space wise, they've got one place. So go on, Rich. Sorry.
I was just going to say that there is an argument that Carla Rudd's a fantastic keeper, but doesn't score a ton of runs. So I would like to see a second keeper in the squad as well. I think it's always good to have competition for places.
Yeah, it's kind of an old school wicket keeper.
Yeah,
as opposed to a batsman with a set of gloves.
Right. Well, I will keep that selected lineup for posterity. We'll see where it goes come the start of the games. Rich, Ollie, thank you very much for guiding us through that. Next up, we'll be looking at the men's side.
See you later.